Osvaldo Sala is a professor at ASU, but before joining the ASU faculty, he was the Lindenman Professor of Biology at Brown University, and he founded the Environmental Change Initiative at Brown University. Now at ASU, he is the founding director of the Global Dryland Center and the Julie A. Wrigley Chair, Regents and Foundations Professor. His research is on climate change, ecosystem services, biodiversity, deserts, and ecosystems by studying precipitation patterns in order to understand climate change. He attributes changes in water availability to ecosystem labs through studying biogeochemical and structural mechanisms, and uses the study of social ecological systems to understand communication of complex relationship. To do so, he utilizes manipulative field experiments, data synthesis, and simulation modeling. But the main focus of his research is on how arid ecosystems respond to global change and how this affects their ability to provide ecosystem services. The primary research article I used was published in the Journal of Geographical Research, Biogeosciences, and is titled The Playa Wetlands Effects on Dryland Biogeochemistry, Space and Time Interactions. It is written by Osvaldo Sala and his associate Owen P. McKenna. They focus on the dependence of Playa ANPP on water surface inputs from upland catchments, and which makes them susceptible to future changes in extreme precipitation events. They seek to answer two questions. The first, how much of the difference in soil organic carbon stock between upland ecosystems and playas is accounted for by allochthonous sedimentation, and how much is accounted for by carbon fixation? The second question is, do playas account for a disproportionately high rate of ANPP relative to their area within the desert basin? They study wetlands, which are geographically isolated in a combination of upland grasslands, shrublands, and agroecosystems. Playas, which are depositional landforms in topographic low areas, are known for storing soil biogeochemically constituents. Surface water playas are flooded through precipitation and upland area run-ons. They hypothesize that flooding negatively affects playa ANPP, predicting that if the playa floods, then ANPP will decrease. They began their experiment by choosing a study site, a closed basin system in the Chihuahuan Desert, containing 2 grasslands and 3 shrublands. To begin, they first chose 30 of the 99 playa samples in the Jordana Basin, taking 9 soil samples from 30 of the playas and collecting and determining a mean value for all 30. This value could then be compared to data from 3 different pre-collected data sites. They then determined ecosystem types and found the mean rate of ANPP for each type. With this information, they were able to determine the net soil organic carbon in playas and estimate sedimentation rates. The data collected from these sites consisted of total soil nitrogen, phosphorus, cations, and organic carbon concentration. A mean average was taken for these. Soil nutrient can then be multiplied by organic carbon concentration and nutrient in the ecosystems, where phosphorus can be analyzed as NaHCO3, and cations were extracted using the saturation method and a modified Möbius method to determine carbon. In order to analyze the measure of organic carbon and total nitrogen, they used elemental combustion analysis. The soil samples were acid fumigated to rid them of inorganic carbon in order to show the variability between playas with the large sample size. The ecosystem map of Jordana was then used to determine the ecosystem area for 5 ecosystem types to determine the rate of NAPP for the rest of the ecosystem types. Their results determined that playas do have a disproportionately high amount of organic carbon and nutrients in their soil relative to the area, but that the mean annual ANPP rates were proportional. To answer question 1, they found that the long-term average ANPP rates were not different from other ecosystems, and flooding did negatively impact ANPP rates. Run-on bringing the allochthonous organic carbon and nutrients to playas is highly important for the playa soil, and the soil is dependent on it. This shows that playas are highly sensitive to variability in precipitation due to the effect that the exponential relationship between precipitation and run-ons has on the soil resources.